Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today our topic is regulation of the breathing. Okay, so regulation of the breathing means what is breathing? Breathing is just breathe in and breathe out. Means when you inhale the oxygen from the atmosphere to the lungs and when you exhale the carbon dioxide from the lungs to the atmosphere, that is called the breathing. It includes inspiration and expiration. Okay, so what is the regulation of the breathing? So regulation means some factor are regulate the breathing, means they regulate the breathing, means how much time you have to inhale the oxygen and after how much time you have to exhale the carbon dioxide. So this control by some factors that are called regulatory factor, and they are included in the regulation of the breathing. Okay, so to maintain normal level of oxygen and carbon dioxide in arterial blood is called regulation of the breathing. Means some factor they maintain their normal level of the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood. So they've controlled, yeah, they regulate by two factor, neural regulation and the chemical regulation. So neural regulation, what is neural regulation? The name you can understand by the name. Neural means nervous system. It controlled by the nervous system, and nervous system divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So only the hindbrain regulate the regulation of the breathing. Okay, and which part regulate? Medulla oblongata and pons. Hindbrain has three parts: cerebrum and medulla oblongata, and third one the pons. So two factors are present in the medulla and pons. They control the regulation of the breathing. And second is the chemical regulation. So what is the chemical regulation? Some chemical present in your blood, when the chemical become increase, so some chemoreceptor understand and regulate the breathing. Okay, so we learn about this in the chemical regulation. They have two: central receptor and the peripheral receptor. Central receptor also present in the medulla. Okay, but they are just controlled by the chemoreceptor. That's why they are controlled by the chemically. That's why they're included in the chemical regulation. Okay, so what is neural regulation? So neural regulation means breathing regulated by the hindbrain. There are three parts of the hindbrain: pons, pons varoli, and the second one is the cerebellum, and third one is the medulla oblongata. So this is the structure. This is a brain structure, this is the pons, and this is the medulla. This is okay. So there are in the medulla, this is medulla. So in the medulla there are one chemoreceptor, one. So there is a center present in the medulla. This center is called a dorsal respiratory group. Another present in the medulla, that is called ventral respiratory group. Okay, this is medulla. And in the pons there are two centers are present: pneumotaxic center and apneustic center. Okay, so first we will understand what is a dorsal respiratory group. So this is also called the RRC, means respiratory rhyme center. Okay, so what is the function of the DRG or RRC? So actually this is the rhyme center, and this control the inspiration and the expiration. Normal inspiration and expiration mean when you are sitting on the chair, so and when you are doing a normal work, so this is controlled by the DRG. But when you are doing exercise or you are running, so your heartbeat become increases. So in this time the ventral respiratory group are responsible. Okay, understand? DRG is responsible when you are doing a normal work, means this is responsible for normal breathing, and ventral respiratory group responsible for the increasing the rate of the breathing when you are running or when you are doing exercise. Okay, and they both are present in the medullary oblongata, medulla oblongata. Okay, so the DRG is how it control. Some neurons are present in the brain, you understand. In the brain there are so many neurons are present. So in the DRG there is also neurons present. So some neurons are connected with the DRG to the lungs. Okay, and they are responsible for the inspiration. How can they do this? So they are responsible for the contraction of the diaphragm and external intercostal muscles. In the last lecture I told you how the inspiration doing. Okay, just the two muscles are responsible for the inspiration and the expiration. What are they? Diaphragm and the external intercostal muscles. So from the RRG or DRG, means dorsal respiratory group, some neurons are present in there and they are responsible for the contraction of the external intercostal muscles and the diaphragm. So when the external intercostal muscle contract and the diaphragm contract, so the volume of the thoracic cavity increase, so the pressure of the air in the lungs become less than the atmosphere. So always air run from the large higher pressure to the lower pressure. So the inhalation become completed. Okay, means the process of the inhalation is doing or it is responsible for the dorsal respiratory group. Okay, and but this dorsal respiratory group only know how the contract the two muscles, diaphragm and external intercostal muscles. It will not stop. Okay, it's just running, it's just contracting again and again and again. But there are one center present in the pons which control dorsal respiratory group, that is called pneumotaxic center. Okay, this pneumotaxic center stop dorsal respiratory group to contract this, and when it stop, so these muscles are relaxed so that the expiration done. Understand? Means listen, just 2 seconds we just inhale oxygen, and from the 3 second we exhale the carbon dioxide. Okay, so when we inhale the oxygen, so DRG just contract these two muscles, so we inspire. This process doing only 2 minutes. After that pneumotaxic center stop DRG, so it stop just 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes expiration done. Okay, but pneumotaxic center only stop it. It don't know how restart the DRG. So there is a second center present in the pons, that is called apneustic center. So this apneustic center just give the signal to the DRG to restart, to contract these two muscles. Understand? So that the inspiration done again. Okay, understand? Means there are in the nervous system, in the neural receptor. Wait. Okay, in the neural receptor there are two medullary respiratory rhyme center. They have 2 points: dorsal respiratory group DRG and ventral respiratory group VRG. DRG is also called a respiratory rhyme center. Okay, and VRG is called chemoreceptor. I didn't tell about the VRG. Understand? So dorsal respiratory center, this is controlled by the apneustic center and pneumotaxic center, which are present in the pons. Okay, so these three are interconnected. Understand? These means DRG, pneumotaxic center and apneustic center works in a normal breathing. Okay, what is the function of the ventral respiratory group? So ventral respiratory group, this is the ventral respiratory group. When you are doing just exercise, okay, so you just breathing and breathe out very fastly, like so you inhale too much oxygen from the atmosphere and you exhale too much carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So how it have to be done, means ये कैसे होता है? So ventral respiratory group are responsible for this. How it responsible? So it is the ventral respiratory group. So in the ventral respiratory group, when you are doing exercise, so in the exercise some chemoreceptors are present in the VRG. So when you are doing exercise, so the level of carbon dioxide increases, means your blood producing your cell producing carbon dioxide too much, so that the hydrogen ion become increase in your blood. So this VRG is sensitive for the carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion. So when the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen ion become increase in your blood, so VRG just sensitive for it, so it just understand that the level of the carbon dioxide become increase, so it give the instruction to the DRG, dorsal respiratory group, to increase the breathing. Means VRG give the instruction to the DRG to increase breathing, so it just contract external intercostal muscles and diaphragm and done inspiration, then pneumotaxic center stop it, and then apneustic center again is restart it. Okay, so the breathing rate of the breathing become increases. So this means when you are doing exercise, so carbon dioxide become increase in your blood, so you have to release it in the atmosphere, and you have to inhale the oxygen from the atmosphere too much to active the cell. So the VRG is responsible for this. Understand these 2 points? Okay, this is also a structure. This is a pneumotaxic center, this is apneustic center. Okay, these two, and this is the ventral respiratory group, this is the dorsal respiratory group, and this is respiratory motor pathway, and this is a vagus and glossopharyngeal. So the dorsal is responsible for the contraction, ventral is responsible for the increase the responsible for in the case of increasing the rate of the breathing. Okay, and apneustic center restart it, and pneumotaxic center inhibit the dorsal respiratory group. So I think I am very clear about this topic, neural regulation. Understand? And second one is the chemical regulation. What is chemical regulation? Means when understand like this, just when you are doing exercise, so some chemical release in your brain, in your blood. Which chemical are present? Just carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion. These two are chemical are present. So some receptor or chemoreceptor are sensitive for the carbon dioxide increased level of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion. So there are two central receptor. First is the central receptor that is present in the medulla, that is also called the ventral respiratory group, that is chemoreceptor and central receptor are same. Second is the peripheral receptor. What is the peripheral receptor? That is aortic bodies and carotid body. How they work? Wait, this peripheral receptor present in your heart. Okay, heart, where is the in the aorta, and second is the carotid arteries. Okay, you know the structure of the heart. If you don't know, then you just read or see my last lecture about the heart. Okay, so peripheral receptor, that's the aortic bodies and carotid body. How they work? So when you are doing exercise, so your cell producing more carbon dioxide. So when your cell producing more carbon dioxide, so the carbon dioxide attach with the H2O, means water, and produce the H2CO3, and further it just divided into H plus ion and and HCO3. Okay, so when the carbon dioxide and the hydrogen ion level increase in the blood, so when it pumps through the heart, so there is some chemoreceptor present in your aorta and carotid artery. So the higher level, increasing level of carbon dioxide and hydrogen, the chemoreceptor just capture this, means the chemoreceptor capture the increasing level of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion, and it just give the instruction to the chemoreceptor, and then this chemoreceptor give the instruction to the DRG, and DRG now after that it just contract the speedily contract the two muscle, external intercostal and diaphragm, and then doing inspiration. After that doing the expiration, means the rate of inspiration expiration become increase. So understand what is the regulation breathing. Regulation of the breathing, there is a two regulatory factor are just control the regulation of breathing, neural regulation and the chemical regulation. Actually all the regulation is done by the dorsal respiratory group. This is dorsal respiratory group. All the chemoreceptor and all the just centers, as apneustic center or pneumotaxic center or ventral respiratory center, give instruction to the dorsal respiratory system. After that, dorsal respiratory system only responsible for the inspiration and expiration. Understand? So in the regulation of breathing, you always remember that when you are doing not doing anything, means when you are relaxing position, so just your breathing is normal, like 12 to 16 breath per minute. Okay. And when you are doing exercise, so just ventral respiratory group are just activate and give signal to the DRG, and then dorsal respiratory group become activate, so that it just increase the level of the inhalation of the oxygen, and then stop the pneumotaxic center. And after that 3 minutes the apneustic center restart the DRG. Okay, so means DRG are responsible for the contracting two muscles, the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. But it don't stop automatically. The pneumotaxic center stop it after 2 minutes, and pneumotaxic center don't restart it. So apneustic center restarted after 3 minutes. So DRG is responsible for the regulation of the breathing. Dorsal respiratory group, that is also called responsible for the regulation of the breathing. Thank you so much for watching.